Good afternoon, fellow Ambazonians. There was an interview with an Ambazonian scholar on Equinox television on the program The Insight, the crisis in the southern Cameroon. They call it the crisis in the northwest and the southwest. So in the course of this interview, the Ambazonian scholar was bringing the journalist back to the history of our country, to let him know that Ambazonia is not northwest and southwest. Ambazonia was a state on her own. French Cameroun was independent on the 1st of January 1960 under the trusteeship mandate of France under the United Nations. At this period, Southern Cameroon was still a trusteeship territory under British rule, and Ambazonia was not yet independent in 1960. So how comes Cameroon doesn't celebrate her independence on the 1st of January 1960? So the scholar was calling the attention of the journalists to the fact that Cameroon, La République, and Southern Cameroon are two and divisible. These countries were never an entity, and they will never be an entity. Let's try to have a recap of what happened. As we already know, we came together as a federal system, and one of the main clauses of the federal constitution was that in no circumstance the federal constitution or the federation should be abrogated. In no circumstance should the federation be abrogated. But Ahijo, as cunning and as dubious as they are, in the Fumban Conference of 1972 came up with a so-called referendum that was a referendum for the whole of Cameroon. The answers to the questions were we and yes. Don't you see how crooked and bad faith they were already from the beginning of the whole show? From the beginning of the whole issue of Southern Cameroon joining Cameroon, they already have they had a preconceived bad faith. That's why in the Fumban conference, the referendum was even supposed to be conducted in the English part of Cameroon. It was supposed to be conducted in the Southern Cameroons, asking Southern Cameroonians if they wanted Cameroon to become a united republic. But as dubious as they are, they went and included the whole of Cameroon, which was already a mindset of a dupe. I will encourage you guys to listen to this audio. These are things we know already, but from time to time, it's good to refresh our memories, so that we know what we are fighting for. We know the reason why we are fighting and why we will never give up until Ambazonia is free. Independence means independence. We will never blink. There is no retreat, no surrender until Ambazonia is liberated from the claws black colonialism. God bless Ambazonia. Listen to the audio. Écoutez là-bas.
Where there has been an upsurge of violence in the recent days. Since yesterday to the early part of today, there were gunshots, gun battles between separatists and the security and defense forces in the town of Bamenda following the killing of an element of the Army Rescue Unit. What do you think about the increase in violence in those two regions?
Good. We are talking about violence every day. I want to think that, Mr. Babila, the truth is this. If you kidnap or you abduct a virgin, you go and you rape that virgin, and you are forcing that virgin to be a wife of yours, one day that virgin will go away. So beating the virgin every day, doing whatever thing you are doing, you are not handling the problem. So this violence has been created by the state of Cameroon, and they are not trying to solve it. Whatever is happening is because of bad will. Violence has come to stay. People are dying every day.
How did they create the violence? They are blaming, the authorities are blaming the separatist fighters.
Yes, how did separatist fighter come into existence? Let us go back to 1884 with the coming of the Germans. When you trace and you come up to 1960, when the French Cameroon had their independence, on the 1st of January, more precisely, that to me would have been the day where La République should be celebrating their national day, not 20th May. And then I want to trace it, please permit me a little bit faster.
But today we have Cameroon. We don't.
I am coming to that. I am coming to that, sir. I'm coming to that. When in 1960, on the 1st of January, La République had their independence. And now,
former La République.
No, La République. They are still La République of yesterday.
Okay.
Now, when they had their independence on the 1st of January 1960, of which they are supposed to be celebrating their national day, they move up now to when they failed in 1961. And you and I, we know why they failed, right? French Cameroon was present, led by Hijo. English Cameroon was present, led by Foncha. Britain was absent. United Nations was absent. Was there any marriage? No. Why are they forcing it? There was no marriage. Django, Foncha, and
Ahid, and the people accepted
the seed which is celebrated as Youth Day does not exist. That is the way they are trying now to derail the attention of the Anglophones and to keep on deceiving them. What happened to the youth that day? You are still a youth. What happened to the youth on the 11th of February? What happened to the youth that you celebrate as Youth Day, Mr. Babila? What happened to the youth that day? So you see, the history of this country, the rich history of this country has been hidden. It has been hidden in such a way that we do European history, world affairs, African history, which is not very bad, but why not Cameroon history? They have hidden it from us so that we don't know the truth. But then, since history is life, history is the truth, there is no way you can continue to hide a pregnancy from a woman. I want to, please let me round up this point.
Go ahead.
Now, when it came down in 1884, to them, those of them who did that, they thought that they were doing a good thing by bringing the name from United Republic of Cameroon that was given in 1972, on 20th May 1972, by bringing it back to La République of Cameroon. To them, they thought that they were doing good, thinking that they wanted to baptize it one and indivisible Cameroon. But then, they did it well for the Anglophones. It helped the Anglophones to have more justification why they were marginalized, why they were denied. Because it went back now to their former statute at independence of 1960. So therefore, Anglophones have a lot of reason to complain. They have a lot of reason to say they are not part of them. Even during the Bakassi Peninsula, what happened? The Green Trail Agreement stated clearly that Cameroon and Nigeria should respect their international boundary at independence. Therefore, Nigeria is still claiming that Bakassi, they don't have a problem with Cameroon, they have a problem over Bakassi with southern Cameroon.
Which is not.
That is where
we have northwest and southwest.
That is where those boys, they are fighting to get back their straight home. The only way forward would have been for the people to listen. I cannot have a problem with you, Mr. Babila. Then I call a meeting in my family and call a few friends that I know, and I say the problem is under control of solving them. When they talk about grand national dialogue, what happened? It was a monologue. We know it. It failed before it even started. What happened? They brought in people who were not the real people at the forefront of the fight. And you expected what? We are talking about reconstruction. They are destroying.
The government is going ahead with the implementation of recommendations of the national dialogue. While
give me just one of them that they have implemented.
There is still violence going on in those two.
Give me just one which they have implemented a work.
When you look at the increasing violence, in those two regions, what do you think about the coming days, the coming months of Anglophone Cameroon? Are we moving towards a solution? Are we moving out of track?
I am thinking that I have read a lot about revolutions. Revolution is not a tomorrow thing, as some people believe. Are you getting me? We have had revolution from Southern Sudan and the rest of it. I don't need to cite them here. We have read even the French Revolution. It takes time. But let the truth be on the table. If the truth, let me call the La République, please. If they know that they have justification, why are they denying the Swiss proposed dialogue?
The government?
Yes. Why are they refusing it? That's the dialogue the Anglophones are accepting. to go back to the root causes of the problem, so that they can bring sanity into the two states. Let me call it the two states. Please, I'm not making an error.
There's one state now.
No, it is not
The
one.
Republic
They
of
are
Cameroon.
forcing it to be called one and indivisible Cameroon. They are two separate states. When the Republic had independence on the 1st of January 1960, was Southern Cameroon part of it? Was it? Was Southern Cameroon part of it in 1961? In 1960, rather.
It had its independence later and decided to join the other side.
It did not decide. The third option was not there.
From one country.
The third option was not there. Because reports
And so
went
they choose one of the two options.
No, yes, they imposed the options, and at that time Nigeria were not fair in the way they were treating them. They had no choice because the third option was not given. Since they were reports in the United Nations that they were not economically viable to sustain themselves, so the third option was not given.
Okay, that is what happened in the past. Now, in the present, where we are today, and the future, how to solve this problem, how to get out of.
The only thing is when a woman continues to refuse marriage, are you getting me? At one moment, you have to accept that, because marriage is not a force. Sit on the table, evaluate yourself, negotiate, find out. You came in, we have been together for 10 years. Are you getting me? We have been together for 10 years. Who is going to pay who? Why are we separating? What was the status of our marriage? Did he have any formal or informal statute? You look at those things, and when you look at those things now, you ask yourself that question: who is going to pay who? Now you take a decision, and then, well, instead of forcing you can go and let me go. We see who pays and when.
You're talking about a negotiated settlement.
Yes, which was the settlement the Swiss proposed, mediated by the international community. That was not what happened at the Grand National Dialogue. It failed before it started. People went, drank wine, took their envelopes and left. Nothing was said about the problem of the envelopes.
But there's some who think that Cameroonians can solve their problems. We don't need to go look for somebody outside.
Which Cameroonian are you talking? Are you talking about Southern Cameroon?
Cameroonians can solve their problem.
Can
the problem not be solved inside
Are
the
you
house?
talking about Southern Cameroonians?
Can the problem not be solved inside the house
Are
by
you talking
Cameroonians?
about Southern Cameroonians or La République?
I'm talking about Cameroonians.
Well,
can Cameroonians solve the
unless you
problem?
tell me the kind of Cameroonian you are talking about.
Can the problem be solved here?
The problem cannot be solved here.
Why can it not be solved here?
Because people are. It is not a national problem. It's an international problem. That is why it cannot be solved in somebody's country who is an enemy. I cannot have a problem with you that demands international intervention, and then you call for me now to solve it in your house. It doesn't work that way.
And
If we were a national problem, it's not like the problem we come to who is fighting for change of constitution. It's a problem that has to do with international community, which has to do with international status of a sovereign state. So we cannot be solving it in an enemy's house. That is why I'm asking you, are we talking about Southern Cameroonians or La République, the other part of Cameroon?
we are talking about the Republic of Cameroon.
Good.
We are talking about the
Okay.
Republic of Cameroon.
If we are talking about the
Cameroon.
Republic of Cameroon, they should solve their domestic problem with the Camtos and the rest, and not the Southern Cameroonian problem.
Joe Boniface G, educationist, thank you for joining us today.
It was my pleasure.
Thanks.